Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for a brand new series, Hawkeye. Hawkeye Season 1, Episode 1, Never Meet Your Hero. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and then we'll get down to it. And that water trickling in the background is just for ambiance. Actually, I forgot to unplug Pepper's water fountain there. So you get to enjoy the nice little trickling sound of water in the background. Uh, Let me take care of some business and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you don't want to be notified, best thing to do is hit that bell down below, and YouTube won't notify you when I come on live. So the best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. I also have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages, like this YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. With that said, we're just going to jump right into it, okay? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you've not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. All right. Giving you enough time to hit pause, whatever you want to do. All right. So, this actually is taken, of course, quite a bit of Matt Fraction's book, Hawkeye. And what did you say there, Raymond? It's a meta group page now. No, it's not a meta group page. No. Oh, well. Oh, that's right. It's Facebook, Meta, whatever it is. At least this week. We'll see what it comes down to. So, this series is actually taken from the Matt Fraction miniseries, Hawkeye miniseries, which introduced Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop had been around a little bit, but it kind of went a little further into her background and things like that. Great series if you get a chance to read it. Really good. Also, we get Lucky the pizza dog that's in there as well. But this first episode is an introduction to Kate Bishop, played by Haley Stanfeld. I can never remember if it's Steinfeld. There we go. Haley Steinfeld. And she's kind of growing on me at this point, but yeah, it needs to get a little bit better. Let's just say. So the one thing I am liking about this is, Clint is in New York City with his kids. His wife is back at home, and it's Christmas time. He's basically taking them to New York City to experience some Christmas before they go back home and have Christmas at home. And they're when they open up, they are at Rogers the musical, which is based on Steve Rogers, and there's a musical about the invasion of New York, in 2012, which we actually had seen a little earlier in the snippet when Kate was young. That's how she lost her father. Was in the Battle of New York. Their brownstone got hit, or their apartment got hit, I should say, and he was there and got crushed in that onslaught. So fast forward to now, which when the Avengers timeline, if I remember correctly, now it's 2025 or 2026, somewhere around there, because of course they're about 5 years ahead of us. So yes, 2026. And Hawkeye has turned off his hearing aids because he does not want to hear the musical, and him and the kids leave midway through this whole thing. The one thing I did like about this is you're seeing pretty much one of the unsung Avengers, if you will, the one who really doesn't have powers. I mean, even Black Widow, Natasha didn't have powers either, but she was like a super spy and everything. She had the training. He was kind of more self-taught. We don't get a lot of Clint's background in the movies, but in the comics, he was actually a circus performer. And that's kind of how he got his trade going. And later on in the comics, they actually say he's a mutant as well. And that's why he can hit everything. So it depends on who writes him and stuff like that. But in the movies, we don't get a lot of his background. And here we get a little bit more of, just the everyman who is grouped together with a bunch of people with powers, and you're kind of seeing the aftermath. I mean, this is now 15 years of him doing this at this point, because Battle of New York happened in 2012. It's now 2026, the end of 2026 at this point. So yeah, he is pretty beaten up. I mean, he's deaf because that's why he's got the hearing aids in. He's older, he's slowing down, he just wants to spend time with his family, that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of liking that little portion that we're seeing here. Uh, it was, I don't know, kind of nice to see, that little bit there. Raymond says, I can't tell if Jeremy Renner always looks pissed off because he doesn't want to be there, or if he. I think that's how his character is supposed to feel. Raymond is, always kind of slightly miffed at things, and he's. If you really want, I was thinking about this, and I know they were saying that the writers were talking about that they had culled a bunch of different Christmas movies to use as the background for this series, and one of them, of course, was Die Hard. I want to say Lethal Weapon is also one of them as well. It's the whole thing of the cop who's near retirement, who gets paired with the crazy partner, and it's Christmas time and all that kind of stuff because that's Shane Black. He always does things at Christmas time. But anyway, um, I kind of like that part that we're seeing of Hawkeye, that we're seeing the city acknowledge, his role in the saving of New York as well, and things like that. And then you have Kate Bishop, who is this um, kind of more free spirit, if you will. She wants to protect her family, what's left of it, which is her mom, played by the great Vera Farmiga. And so she's become a martial artist. She's learned fencing. She's learned archery, and she excels at all these things, gymnastics, things like this. And she's an overachiever when it comes to that. So, but she also gets in trouble as well, which is what Hawkeye does as well. So yeah, I'm kind of digging this dynamic that they have going on. Raymond asks, so did they film most of this last Christmas? It can't be all set. No, they filmed some of this back in April. Um, so a lot of this stuff was done during the summertime. Yeah, believe it or not. So yeah. A lot of this was done outside, outdoors, that kind of stuff, and shot in New York. If you go and take a look on Instagram and you look for Hawkeye stuff, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's out there of them shooting outdoors and things like that, and they just made it look like Christmas. That's all it was. Pretty easy to do. Christmas in July. So her her mom, of course, is getting remarried to this guy Jack, who she doesn't really like and doesn't really trust either. And Jack has an uncle who is more well-to-do, shall we say. And the uncle is not really digging this whole union, mainly because of Jack, also a little bit because of who he's marrying with Eleanor Bishop. And he kind of voices this to Eleanor, and of course Kate overhears this, and so of course Kate digs a little bit deeper, and she starts following Jack and also Armand, and Armand the third, by the way, because there's 7 Armands out there. And she goes down to a black market deal during this fundraiser that her mother is throwing, which is a black market deal that's happening in the wine cellar underneath the fundraiser that her mother is throwing. Yeah. And in this black market, what is being sold but Ronin's sword and Ronin's suit. So for those of you playing at home, Ronin, of course, is who Hawkeye became after the snap, after his family was completely wiped out during the snap. And he went through and started killing a bunch of criminal underworld, bunch of criminals in the underworld. That's all he was doing, was just killing criminals in the underworld. We don't know how many, but we know it was a lot to enough where they knew who he was, and they all want him dead. So some Russian mafia, of course, busts through the wall of the auction, and we don't know what they're there for, but they are clearing out everything out of the auction. Is pretty much they're there for a watch. Actually, I should say they're there for a watch, and we don't know what the watch entails, but the watch ends up. I believe that Lucky might have swallowed it. Is what happened, and in the process of all of this, Kate, in order to take out the Russian bad guys, actually puts on the Ronin suit because it's up for auction. It falls at her feet, and she kicks the shit out of these guys, and they all think that she is Ronin at this point, and so they're chasing her. And Hawkeye, being in New York at the time, sees the news, sees the Ronin costume. He's like, "Fuck!" And yeah, he hunts her down. Is what happens, and he does find her, but not until she sees um, Armand the Third dead from a sword. And by the way, the sword that Ronan had, which is a retractable sword, by the way, was stolen by Jack, her soon-to-be stepdad. Yeah. So the plot thickens at this point, and of course, Hawkeye ends up saving her ass from the tracksuit mafia, which is what he calls them, the tracks, because they're all wearing tracksuits and they're all wearing talking Russian. And he needs the suit back because, of course, there's a whole bunch of people, bad people, that are going to be after that suit. And yeah, so yeah, and it turns out the tracksuit mafia knows who she is at this point. They track her down to her place, and that's where we're at this point. So, yeah, Hawkeye, of course, needs to deal with this thing once again. So, yeah, we get an introduction to Kate Bishop. We get an introduction to what Hawkeye is going through right now, and he really just wants to retire, wants to be with his family. And Lucky the pizza dog with his little one eye, probably swallowed the watch. We don't know what this watch is to at this point. Also, we don't know what Jack is into at this point either, if he's the one that actually killed Armand or not. And yeah, we don't know what the tracksuit mafia wants that watch for. Raymond says maybe that New York pizza, the dog will pass the watch. Yeah. Also, the dog doesn't have a name yet. He doesn't, but he doesn't have a name in the first episode. Yes, that's true, Raymond. He doesn't. But I know from the comic it's Lucky the pizza dog. So yeah, sorry, I kind of jumped the gun on that one. But I'm like, hey, it's Lucky. So yeah, all in all, a decent episode. Um, it's kind of one of those grounding episodes again after what we had with What If, where we had a whole bunch of the multiverse that's happening. So now we're having a more grounded episode, a grounded series right now, where we are again street level versus cosmic. And we kind of need this every now and then. It's a breather. So you do cosmic, street level, cosmic, street level, and I believe that's what the movies are going to do as well. We're going to go cosmic, street level, and so on and so forth. Although probably not with Spidey and Doctor Strange back to back. Those two are probably going to be both cosmic. So there you go. Yeah. So I had fun with it. I liked what they put down here, and we're going to get into episode 2 at 5 o'clock. I'm actually going to keep the 5 o'clock time limit there because, well, maybe we're going to do 5:15. How about that? I'm actually just looking at the time there. So we'll probably do about 5:15. What did you think of the action? I liked how they showed the bottles that don't. Yeah, that was one of the things I really did like, Raymond, was when she's hitting him with the bottles and the bottles aren't breaking. I'm like, that's exactly how wine bottles are supposed to act. They don't break when you hit someone over the head. They hurt like a motherfucker when someone hits you with them, and they break bones. Yeah, if you hit them from the side or something like that, or you just drop them on the ground, sure, they're going to break. But if you are beating the fuck out of someone with one of those things, you can break bones and cause contusions. So I like the fight scenes in this. Also, Haley, being the small person that she is, she's not Natasha, where she can just jump up and grab people with with her legs and then flip them down. No, she jumps up at one point, grabs onto the of the fire sprinkler pipe, and she's got this guy wrapped around her legs wrapped around this guy's head, and she's trying to snap his neck, and she can't do it. And then of course the once the pipe gives way and she falls backwards, he flips with her because of course you got 120 pounds wrapped around your neck. Yes, you're going to go flying, or 108 pounds or whatever she weighs. So I did like that, where she was not able to take down the bad guys easily, but she still was able to with the martial arts experience that she has. So uh, that was actually good. They had a good amount of fights, realistic fight scenes, I guess you could say. So yeah, I did like that. So with that said, what else do I have going on the rest of this week? Well, in about half an hour or so, I'm going to do episode 2 of Hawkeye here. And at 6 p.m., I'm going to do Is It Worth My Time? Hulu's Hit Monkey is what's going to happen tonight. Yes, that's all going to happen tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to be off. Friday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth, Wheel of Time, episode 4. Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news, the weekend, any genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Sunday, I'm off. Monday is going to be, spoiler alert, Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. And then Wednesday will be another episode of Hawkeye. So, yeah. CBM says Haley's fight scenes were well tailored to her characters. She's still awkward, but they're still done just like a new superhero should be. Exactly. Yeah. Especially in someone else's costume. And, I like how the hood was kind of getting in her way, and she's like, and she's moving it around a little bit. That's actually something I always hated hooded characters, because it's not. I don't know if you ever wore a hoodie and you try and move around in that shit. It doesn't work. It blocks off your vision. It blocks off your hearing as well. I mean, it's not realistic fighting around in a hoodie. So, with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back here at why don't we say 5:20ish? How about that? I think that'll work. 5:20 will work. So until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find a suit that doesn't belong to you, and as long as you have the abilities to use it, try not to. Just call the police. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again at 5:20 here for episode 2. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, get those masks on, get those vaccine shots, and get those flu shots as well. And stay safe out there. I'll see you in a little bit. Have fun.